It's 9 p.m., and your bedroom still feels like an oven. You've got two fans pointed straight at the bed, and it's still not enough. You just paid $340 for an HVAC guy to top off the refrigerant, and by August it's blowing warm again anyway. Now picture this. A simple vent cut into your attic wall, no motor, no thermostat, no $1,000 unit sitting in your yard. By morning, your whole house feels 10 degrees cooler. That's not a gadget. That's not a hack you saw once and forgot about. That's a build my grandfather did with a handsaw and a Saturday afternoon. Nothing more complicated than that. Nothing store-bought involved at all. By the end of this video, I'm going to show you the one measurement the old builders never skipped, not even once. The one every hardware store attic fan on the market today gets completely wrong and probably always will get wrong. When I was a kid, my grandfather had a farmhouse outside Charm, Ohio, a plain white two-story with a tin roof. That tin roof caught the sun all day long, every single summer, and you'd think that house would have been an absolute oven by July. It wasn't. I remember climbing up into that attic with him once, maybe 9 years old, expecting to feel like a furnace. Instead, there was this steady pull of air moving past my face, cool almost, smelling like cut hay and warm cedar shingles. He tapped the little louvered opening at the gable end and looked at me like he was about to tell me a secret. He said, "A house needs to breathe out before it can breathe in cool, Samuel. You seal it up tight, you trap the heat inside with you." I didn't understand him then. I understand him now. That house never had central air, not once, not in 90 years of standing there. Here's what's actually happening up there. On a 95-degree day, the trapped air in a sealed attic can climb past 140 degrees. That heat doesn't just sit there quietly. It radiates straight down through your ceiling insulation into every single room below your feet, which means your AC unit isn't just fighting the outside temperature, it's fighting a second furnace sitting right above your head all day. Building science researchers have measured this for decades. Attic heat load is one of the biggest reasons AC units run longer than they should. When you give that trapped heat somewhere to escape, a proper intake low and an exhaust high, you create what's called the stack effect. Hot air rises and pulls itself out on its own. No motor needed, just physics doing what physics has always quietly done. So ask yourself something. If a $35 vent cut can take that much strain off your AC unit, why doesn't anyone mention it? Why does every HVAC visit end with a sales pitch for a bigger, more expensive system instead of a 5-minute talk about airflow? Who benefits when your compressor burns out at year 9 instead of year 20 quietly, right on schedule, like clockwork every single time? Nobody's hiding a conspiracy in some boardroom. They just don't make money teaching you to need them less than you already do. Once you see that clearly, you start noticing how much gets sold to homeowners as a fix for problems airflow would have prevented outright. This works whether you're in an old farmhouse or a plain 1990s subdivision ranch house. It doesn't matter which one you own. Here's the weekend build. One gable vent or soffit vent kit, roughly $18 at any hardware store in your town. One ridge or roof vent cap, roughly $12, plus a tube of exterior sealant for about $5 total. A basic jigsaw or reciprocating saw, which most people already own sitting in a garage somewhere, gathering a little dust. Total cost, right around $35, less than a single visit from that HVAC technician who keeps coming back every summer. Step 1. Go up into your attic on a cool morning and find your gable end, the triangle-shaped wall at the roof's peak. If you don't have a gable, we'll use the soffit instead, the underside of your roof overhang along the edge of the house. Step 2. Cut an opening for your intake vent low, near the soffit or eave, where cooler outside air will enter the space. Step 3. Cut a second opening high, near the roof ridge or ceiling peak, for your exhaust vent to let hot air escape. The bigger the gap in height between intake and exhaust, the stronger the natural pull of air moving through your attic space. Step 4. Install both vents. Seal the edges with exterior sealant so no water gets in during the next rainstorm. No wiring involved, no fan needed. No permit required in most counties for an opening of this particular size. Step 5. Give it 48 hours. The attic has to cycle through one hot afternoon and one cool night to settle in properly. By the second day, most people feel the difference in the room directly below the attic, noticeably cooler than it was before. The first question people ask is whether this lets bugs or rain inside the attic space through the newly cut openings. Every vent kit comes with a built-in mesh screen and a hooded cap, the same hardware roofers have used for 50 years running. The second question is whether this actually replaces air conditioning entirely, and it doesn't, and I'm not telling you that it does. What it does is take the load off your AC so it runs less often, cools faster, and lasts a lot longer. The third question is about winter. Won't this vent let your heat escape too during the cold months of the year? No, because a properly vented attic should already match the outside temperature year-round, in every season, not just summer. The fourth question is cost versus a powered attic fan, which runs $150 to $300 plus a monthly electricity cost. This build uses no power at all, just the natural rise of hot air, which never stops working and never quietly breaks down. Here's the detail almost nobody gets right. The old builders in homes in Wayne County never just cut 2 holes and called it finished. They followed what they called the 4-to-1 rule. For every 1 square foot of low intake, you need 4 square feet of exhaust. Most modern attic fan kits get this backwards, sizing the exhaust too small, which chokes the airflow and barely moves any heat at all. Size the exhaust bigger than the intake, and the attic pulls air through itself all day long, no motor required, ever. That single ratio is the difference between a vent that does nothing and a vent that changes your whole house by August. You didn't invent this today. You just took back something quietly replaced around the time subdivisions started coming with central air already installed. You're the kind of person who'd rather spend one Saturday with a saw than argue with a thermostat every summer for years. Tell me in the comments, does your attic have a gable end, or is it soffit vents only, because it changes where you cut? If this is the kind of thing you want more of, the stuff that got buried so somebody could keep selling you what you already had, subscribe. Next time, I'm showing you the buried pipe that cools a house without any electricity at all, and why almost nobody builds it anymore.